Hi, this is Charlie giving you Friday's live trading, and I'm sure I will be trading live today. I'm already in a trade, so I'm just going to go through that with you. This is the pound dollar here, and actually if I start out with a daily chart, see if we can get out to that. It put in a nice spinning top candle yesterday. I'm really suspicious of this pound dollar. It could just fly today and fly up. Overall, I am bullish on the pound dollar, which is a weird one because I'm shorting it, but I'm looking for it to come down to its monthly pivot, which is down at 166, just over 166. So it's got very marginal negative momentum on the daily chart, so it hasn't got any positive momentum. It doesn't mean to say that can't turn, but I'm going with that as it is. It had a nice run yesterday if we take this into the hourly charts, but then it had a nice run up, but then sort of gave it back by the end of the day, and it didn't hold. Whereas if we look at the euro dollar, the euro's held really nicely into its gains. So today I'm going to be looking for this thing to roll over. Now, what I did last night is once I'd seen that the pound had come down, I put an order in to sell if it came back up to the upper band here on the hourly charts. So I put an order in at 45, which just got hit because I know this hit about 44.8. So it was about it filled me on the spread essentially. But so I bring the account over just for purposes so you can see the trade. There you go. So I'm in this trade at the moment, 100,000 so far. But what I'm going to be looking to do is to build that position today. There's no point really doing anything with it obviously during the morning. It's likely to only happen later on, unless if the pound starts breaking down this morning, then some more, then I'll start to build it. But otherwise, I'm pretty much going to leave that alone, let it just play around. Wouldn't surprise me if it comes all the way up into this sort of zone and then rolls over again. Well, hopefully it's going to roll over. So that's my plan of action. So certainly looking to short the pound. I've got a couple of other markets that I'm interested in. The euro I feel I'm a bit locked out of at the moment, so the euro dollar. So it's just had this tremendous run, and I feel I'm locked out. There's not really. It's very difficult to get in when it's like this because where do you put your stops? Got to be miles away. I'm going to leave the euro dollar alone, but I am interested in the dollar yen on the short side, funnily enough. And the reason I'm interested in the dollar yen is that actually if we go out to the monthly chart, we've come back up to retest the upper bands here on the monthly chart, so we're up against a resistance zone. And what else is it? I think there was something else. Oh, it's the daily 50 as well, isn't it? So if we go to the daily charts, actually the daily 50 on e-signal is just literally just where we were yesterday, whereas telecharts is showing it's above. So I'm tempted by the dollar yen as well. So I'm going to have a quick look at that as well, and then I'll come back to this. But it's likely I won't be doing much recording this morning, and I'll just be holding fire for later today. So I'll press pause. Okay, I have just put a very small short in on the dollar yen, and so I've just initiated that position. And I don't need to put much in on that. Just a half lot trade, so just 50,000, and so it's just got a 28 pip stop, and so and because of that one I see as a potential a decent run of a good 150 200 pips, then I don't even need to worry too much about putting a bigger stake in. It'll just be a nice enough little trade if it pans out. So by doing that dollar yen trade as well, I'm giving myself that extra bit of exposure, because if the pound goes up, then maybe the yen will come down. So it's just a bit of a hedge as well. But then again, everything was going up yesterday together, so we'll see. Maybe the pound will come down and the yen. So I've got that one in now as well. So that's it for now. It's 4 minutes in. It's only probably about 7:30 in the morning. Yes, it is. So I'll be back later. Right, it's 8:10. I've just put a short in on gold as well. So let's make this chart smaller for you so you can see it. So I've just put a small, again only small, but I've put a 2 units in on gold as a short. That's been diverging and on the daily charts, and there's something else been going on with it as well. Now what else was it? Bear with me. Ah, yes, it's been sitting around the just sitting into resistance on the weekly charts. It's sitting on the weekly 50 at the moment, or just there or thereabouts. So I'm just seeing if gold's going to weaken off over the coming days. I can bring up a daily chart on telecharts here, but I'm not going to bring up my e-signal. It's off screen. Let's have a look at gold on the dailies. Sorry, weekly chart. So sitting around this weekly 50, so I'm looking to see if this is actually going to back off. So it's such a small risk. I'll probably lose about maybe £50 on the trade if it doesn't work out, and if it does work out, then I'll probably make about 100, 150. So it's only a very small one, but these things all add up. So we'll keep an eye on that, and obviously we'll be keeping an eye on this dollar yen today. Anyway, I'll press pause. We'll come back to this later. Okay, so I've been watching cable. It's come up this morning. I've just been waiting for it to come into its band. So this is just my opportunity to now get my extra entries off here, because my stop's only at 70, whatever it's going to be, at 79. So I get another 2 units off there, and enables me to get that position sort of in full for now, and then I can look to, if it does shoot down later today, then I can look to add to the position on weakness, so to speak. So so I've got my total units in now. Let's have a quick right, let's bring it across. Okay, so here's the positions. So it's not, I'm keeping it obviously all within the risk, so it's only, I mean, I'll lose about a couple £100 I guess or so on this pounds trade if this flies up, but I mean obviously this dollar yen trade, I mean this gold trade as well, all small stuff at the moment. Obviously they're not really moving around. The other markets, these other 2 markets, aren't really moving around a lot at the moment. Cable's having a bit of a run here this morning, but anyway, we'll see how it gets on. So basically what I've done is use the bands to come in, wait for price to come back into my bands here, and the only reason I'm doing that is because we've yet to have any positive momentum lock in on the hourly charts. So I'm still a little bit wary that this is actually just a false move up here this morning, and so I'm giving it a go, and if I get stopped out, so be it. I'll lose a couple £100 or so, and then I'll just reassess once we get to the non-farm payrolls. So that is properly done now. I've got a few trades set up, and it's now just a case of playing a waiting game ahead of the non-farm payrolls. So I'll press pause, be back later on. Right, just back. It's now 10 to 1. As we can see, cable from when I shorted it earlier on this morning, which was down here, whenever it was in this zone, it obviously pulled back, and then it's just didn't come all the way up. Now, my stop was at 167.80, and literally just 5 minutes ago I thought, actually, why don't I just hedge this? Because it's always possible that obviously it's just gone into yesterday's highs and just breach those, and then if it was to roll over, and I could be completely wrong, I'm sure I am, and that cable's going to fly up to 169 or something, it's going to have a massive run up. There's no reason why it shouldn't do, but I'm looking at the technicals, and I've just got this view, and so I'm sticking with that view. I'm having to stick with that view now. But so what I've done is actually just hedged my position. So because rather than just taking the loss only for it to then come all the way back down, what I've done is I just hedged it. So I took my stops out. So I've put them right up at 169, just out of the way, and then I've gone long with 200,000 because I was short with 200,000. So I'm effectively square now on the cable until I pull it. Now what I've done is I've gone long, but I've put a stop at 45. So if it was to shoot down and it comes to 45, I'll get stopped out on the long and take the loss on that, but then I'll be back up in these positions. So that's the plan. So rather than me trying to re-execute and then maybe not get filled and everything else, so I've done it this way instead. So it's just a slightly different way of dealing with it. So anyway, we shall see. I'll come back just before the open. Or I say the open, the news. Okay, so just to reiterate, I've put this hedge in place on the pound. So whatever happens at the moment, either way, because I've got this hedge in place, either way, if it flies up, then as you can see, my P&L is not changing at all, because I'm perfectly hedged. I'm actually net square, as you'll see here, net square on the pound. These are these swings that I've put in on yen and on gold. So they can do whatever they want. It's all about the pound here that I'm interested in. So I've got that stop down here in the up at 40s because I'll get slipped. So I put it at 48. I know I'll get slipped down to about 45 there. but as you can see, the pound's moving around, but my overall P&L is at 310. So it can go all the way up. The pound could fly up, and it will still be at 310 until I opt to close out of my position. So that's the plan there. So by having the hedge, it just stops me from potentially getting stopped out on all the volatility before it does decide on which direction to go in. So I do think that I've got this wrong, and I think that cable's probably going to go higher, because my overall view on the pound is for it to run up to 170. So, but I just wasn't expecting it right now. So, but anyway. And it's the same with the euro dollar. My overall view on the euro dollar has been quite bullish. So, but by having the hedge in place, it's just in case it's just whips up and then starts coming back down, then it just means that I'm not going to get caught by that. So anyway, I shall press pause. We have just under 2 minutes to go. Okay, so we've got 10 seconds to go. So the spreads are going crazy. Look how wide these spreads are going. Look, 17 pips. This is a big news announcement. See spreads like that. Okay, let's see where we go. So down so far. I need it to go lower in order for me to want to get in. Right, okay, so it needs to come down a little bit. It could come all the way back up yet. I need to adjust my stops. So because it's closed me out of my other position. So I'm quickly off screen just going to start changing my stops. So 167.80. Just changing my stops off screen at the moment because cable's come down a bit, and it's now just a case of whether it's going to go back up and stop me out. 67.80. Done that one. Just quickly trying to get this in before in less than 678. Okay. Right, so I'm de-hedged, and now it's just a case of whether this pound is going to come down for me, or that it's going to go, or it's about to go all the way up. So we'll see. So if it does come lower, then I'm obviously going to want to start looking at getting in on the short side. So it just depends on what it's doing. So at the moment, I've completely de-hedged. The short has stopped me out, and so it's just a case of what's going to happen on this now. So what's going to happen here? So nothing too major going on just yet. We've had this bit of a gap down, a bit of a move down. Are we actually going to go lower? The gold position has come good, so gold's up £100 at the moment off screen, but yen looks like the yen stopped me out. So gold, but gold's up. So gold so far is doing okay, but I don't need to worry about gold too much because that can deal with itself. I might move my stops down at some point, but actually I will move my stops down. So just while we're waiting on the pound here, let's move the stops down on gold. It looks like pound's going to come up. This is the one risk that was going to happen, that was that if the pound comes all the way back up, then I lose on both sides. Like I said, I'll end up losing whatever it's going to be. So it looks like it'll be about £700, but we'll see. So gold, my entry's at 48. We're down at 41, 42. So I think I can move my stop down to about 52 now. So let's just do that. 13, 50. I'll put it in at 51. That's more than enough. Place. $13.51. Okay, so we'll just see with gold. It'll be such a small loss on that one anyway. So yeah, nothing too much going on here at the moment. No massive direction just yet, but we'll see. Maybe this cable's going to come all the way back up. And if it is, then I'm out, completely out. So at the moment, doing all this recording, but I think I'm going to have to press pause on the recording because otherwise it's going to get a little bit boring for you just watching this. So I'll press pause for now. Okay, just back. So the pounds continue to come down a bit here, so I am interested in being on the short side now. We just come back down to the hourly 50, but that's been tested several times. It just looks like it's trying to turn. So it still looks to me like it needs to come lower at the moment because of where the momentum is. So I've still got to be a little bit patient here before I can really do too much. But let me bring across the accounts, and you can sort of see just the result of of the hedging and everything that I did. So remember, the hedge obviously got stopped out, but then the short now is coming good. So remember, I was net I should have been stopped out at minus 310 earlier if I would have just had the stop. And if this was to carry on going, then this works out ultimately. So I'll end up into positive territory on that. Gold's running quite well. Yen got stopped out on, but gold's running quite nicely on the gold short. But again, we'll see. But in the main, it's still this pound dollar that I'm still very interested in, and seeing whether I can add and build to this position, because obviously I want to be in it. So I'm in it, but I want, like I said, I've got some decent targets below, so it's a case of trying to identify a half decent point. The only shame is that we haven't got the momentum there on the hourly charts at the moment, so that's a bit of a pain for me. So I'm just sitting here watching it right now, but we're just going to see, and if I can get an entry, then I will do. Okay, so what I'm going to be looking for is, we've just had a little extreme move down into these lows, so I'm looking for a bit of a bounce here to then add to my shorts for the rollover. So that's exactly what I'm looking for right now. So I'm going to be looking to short this shortly. It could want to come all the way up to my white lands here, up to my bands, so it could want to come all the way up to there, but I don't want to miss out on adding in, so I want to at least get one entry in here, and then potentially another entry in over there. And what I'll do is, ultimately my overall stop will be coming down. Oh, here we go. So there's my, I just wanted to be get that short in there. So ultimately my my stop will be coming down. So if we started to breach 167.70 now on this rally, then obviously it'll all be over. I'm going to certainly allow for it to come up to way up to these white lines, up to this is the 50 period moving average up here. Certainly can allow for that. But I want to be able to add to that short position. It may want to come up to here, which I may add to there, but then I'm going to move my stop down overall on this. So now just a case of seeing how this is going to play itself out, and if I can get these positions in and then get into a position where I can sort of sit back, a bit like with the gold option of this, then it's potentially then just a case of sitting back, watch, and see how it goes. So I'll just pause for now. Right, just back. It's now 5:30 p.m. I think it's the longest span of time I've done the video update over for a long time. But as we can see, not really too much going on with the pound here for the afternoon. So what I'm doing is I'm holding on to these positions because I've got downside targets which are a reasonable amount lower. So let's have a look and see where we got to for the day anyway. So it was gold still in the short, so it's currently up 126. We'll see what happens with that. I've got a target, first target of 1324, and then left the other one open because that's down a bit lower. So we'll see what happens with that. Obviously that yen trade got stopped out this morning for minus 97. The hedge got stopped out for minus 415. In open positions, including that hedge, obviously I'm net up 98 and net up 129. So if I wanted to bail out now, then I would have a gain of 129 today. But that's not what I'm doing. So my plan is to, with this trade, is just to continue with the trade, and we'll see how it goes. If the trade works out, then it'll pay out about £2,000 some point next week. So we'll see. So the whole point is, quite happy to risk a certain amount to make a larger amount, and so we'll just see. If it comes up though, then I'll lose about I think it's about £600 something like that. So I'm quite happy to take the risk in order to see if I can get the reward. I think that's roughly what it is. What am I? How many positions I'm in? Yeah, I'm short 300. So it'd be a bit more than that actually. So it's another. It might actually be more towards £3,000 actually on that trade. Time it's done, so we shall see. Anyway, it's a long video, so just see what happens next week, and back in touch on Monday.